hands are sweaty. So I've been dancing and running for a really long time, and that's where I put all my stuff. So that's why there's a lot of stuff there. And I know it's crooked and it annoys me too, but I'm scared if I move it, it's all gonna fall on me. So we're just gonna let it be crooked. Okay. So a few videos ago, I posted a video with my boyfriend, Aaron. And in that, we talked about like what it's like to date someone with Tourette syndrome. It was kind of like a joking around video, like not very serious. But oh my gosh, it got way more views than I thought it would and a lot of comments. And literally like 75% of the comments are like, she does not have Tourette syndrome. They're like, I have Tourette syndrome. She did not. She's showing no symptoms of Tourette syndrome. And then I did this little like questionnaire thing. That's not what it's called, but it's like a little thing on Instagram where it's like, ask a question. And then someone like types a question and then you like post the answer on your story. And someone, I'll put their thingy somewhere, and she requested that I do kind of another video kind of really explaining what the Tourette's I have and how, because clearly, I mean, I blink a lot. But like, I don't really have that many tics anymore, and you can't really notice I have Tourette syndrome. So I understand why everyone's asking if I have it on that video. So she wanted me to kind of explain what my Tourette's were like and like kind of what my comorbids are a little bit. So that's what we're gonna do today. And I also kind of want to incorporate into this video different strategies that I have learned over the years and different things that helped me personally that really made life easier with Tourette syndrome and helped me kind of get to the point where I am now, where you can't really tell I have it anymore. I understand that it's different from everyone, but I thought I'd share some things that helped me along the way. So as I said in my very first video I've made on this channel, that I was diagnosed at 4 with Tourette syndrome, which is really young. People usually get diagnosed like right before puberty because that's when it seems to get the worst for people. But I was diagnosed at age 4. So when my tics started out, one of them I had in preschool was when like a teacher would ask like a yes or no question. Of course, me being me, I'd be like, oh, I know the answer. And like, it'd be something like, is the sky blue? I'd be like, well, duh, the sky's blue. But for some reason, I had a tic where I'd have to say the opposite. So she'd be like, is the sky blue? And I'd be like, no. But like, I was thinking yes. And all the kids were like, haha, she's so stupid. Like, you know, it was rough. So my first piece of advice for living kind of an easier life with Tourette's is not to let your Tourette's control you and learn how to work around them. So like when I was in preschool and I couldn't answer the question the way I wanted to, I created like this little simple sign language where I would answer how I wanted with my hands despite what my mouth was saying. So for yes would be like a nod with my hand and no would be this. And that made it a lot easier to communicate the way I wanted with my teachers. Then when I went into primary school, like 1st and 2nd grade, I had these little vocal tics, and I'll see if I can recreate them. So one of them was like a gulping sound. It was like, so that was one of them. And then the other one was like a clearing throat sound. It was like, it was, I don't know, maybe it was more of a grunt. It was like, something like that. But they were real cute, obviously. I remember that being very distracting in class, especially to the kids around me. Next is to own your Tourette's and be very confident in yourself. So little like 2nd grade me, when like someone come up and be like, why are you grunting so much? Like you sound like you have to poo, I can't concentrate. And then I would be like, I was diagnosed when I was 4 with Tourette syndrome. It's a neurological disorder. I can't help it. And they were like, okay, that's cool. You want to go play tag? So really, if you just kind of explain Tourette's to people the best you can and just really be confident in it and don't like shy away from it and just accept that you have Tourette syndrome, be like, here is me. I have Tourette syndrome. I can't help it. Then really people be like, okay, like I understand. And also around that time frame, maybe when I was a little bit older, I was learning how to ride a bike. And I had a tic when I was learning to ride a bike that I had to take my hands off the handlebars. So there's me like learning how to ride a bike, like woo, and they'd be like, whoops, and then I'd fall over or I'd crash into something. I couldn't really do anything about this one. I just crashed a lot, but now I can ride my bike with no hands. I feel really cool. LOL, watch. As I got into like 4th grade-ish, that's when I started to show a lot of comorbids. and my main one was anxiety. So I remember having a sleepover, and I had my first anxiety attack. I just couldn't fall asleep, and I was so nervous that I was the only one awake, and I wasn't in my house, and I wasn't with my mom, and I really just didn't like that feeling of I was like the only one awake in the house for hours. So that really kick-started like 3 years of I couldn't have a sleepover at anyone's house, and even in 5th grade, like really I had to sleep with my mom in the same bed as her, and even then I would still be up all night with anxiety attacks. So my next advice is to seek help when you need it. So I hadn't really gone to many therapists until I had really bad anxiety about sleeping. So that's when I went to a therapist, and she talked me through different ways to kind of calm my anxiety and focus on my breathing and different tricks to kind of get myself to calm down enough to fall asleep. So one of the things she had me do was keep a journal about just different irrational thoughts going through my head as I couldn't sleep, and then I'd show her each week at therapy. So let's read some of them. So here's an example of one of those irrational, anxiety-filled nights. It says, "First day in Florida and in my own room. My mom stayed with me and we both fell asleep in my room. I woke up in the middle of the night and started thinking about sharks in the water at the beach. I thought, what if there was one by me in the water? Do I stay still? Do I splash around? Do I slowly swim away? Do I slowly swim away? This thought terrified me. Then I stopped myself and started counting to 100. I fell asleep before I got to 100. So that's an example where I had these really irrational, anxiety-filled thoughts that would keep me awake and would lead me into kind of a circle of, oh my gosh, like, here's a scary thought, oh my gosh, I can't sleep, oh my gosh, I'm the only one awake, oh my gosh, I'll never sleep. And that's kind of like the circle that happened. And then it's also an example where I stopped myself and I was like, let me count to 100 and not think about sharks. And that's like one of the tricks she gave me to do. So yeah, definitely when you're really struggling either with just your tics or pay attention in class or sleeping or any kind of comorbid, then really I think it's so smart to just go to a therapist, go to a professional and get help, because they can really lead you into the right path. And then maybe in the future, if you have more issues with comorbids, then you can think back, be like, oh yeah, she had me do this to distract me from this, I can apply that here. And going on into junior high, I had a really hard time paying attention in class. And that's when my grades started going down because I just was having a really hard time. I couldn't sit still, couldn't pay attention. And then my teachers were giving me a really hard time, which made me just not want to try in the class because I was just so fed up with it. My advice for not being able to pay attention in class is to join a sport activity club or find something that will use up the extra energy in your brain. So for me, that was dance and cross country, and now I do show choir and different things for my school. And it really helped me to go to school and then afterwards just go run out or dance out that extra energy I had and really have my brain just focus on something else other than school and ticking. And it really helped a lot in class. Like, my grades got a lot better and my confidence got better, and it just really helped overall just to kind of like calm down and control myself. And now that I'm older and I'm kind of running into these tests like the ACT and the SAT and AP tests, I have found that that's really hard with Tourette syndrome, because maybe I'm trying to read my little A-push thing and I'm like, and I can't focus. And they're timed, and it's very hard with Tourette syndrome to take a time test, let me tell you. So that kind of leads to not getting a good grade because I have a hard time focusing, and then I think I kind of have a little bit of an OCD comorbid, because like if I don't perfectly succeed in something, I'm like, oh my god, I'm terrible, the world is ending, I'm going nowhere in life, and that kind of leads me down to like a little bit of a depression. And really the only thing that can help with that is just kind of accepting your Tourette's and who you are, which I understand is hard and I still really struggle with. But because one of my friends would be like, oh my gosh, like I got like a 90 on this test, I didn't even study, oh my gosh. And then I'll be like, I studied for 10 hours last night and I got an 84, like, and I'm like, I feel really bad. But then I remember, I'm like, I have Tourette syndrome. It is hard for me to take a test. That 84 is good. As long as I got that A overall, who cares if I got an 84 or a 90, you know? So you just gotta remind yourself, be like, Remember that one test I did good on? Yeah, me too. That one wasn't that test, but that's okay. Like, you know? Just remember that you have Tourette syndrome. And a lot of people around you don't. So you're already doing something really amazing that they could never do. And it's really cool for you to get up and go to school and just live your life with that extra weight on you of Tourette syndrome. And they could never understand what that's like. So love yourself and appreciate yourself and congratulate yourself for getting through your life with Tourette syndrome. And one other thing that can really help with kind of accepting your Tourette syndrome and who you are is finding other people with Tourette syndrome. And I had the amazing opportunity to do that at the Youth Ambassador training for the Tourettes Association of America. But I know that's really hard to find people in your area or go to one of those conventions and meet people. So like I always say, you guys hit me up in my DMs at mia.mantei on my Instagram, or hit me up on my email. I'll put it in the description, and we can become friends and we can talk about our Tourettes. And then boom, you know someone, and if you want, I know a ton of people with Tourette's. I will send you their direction and you can have a whole Tourette's community and we can all lift each other up and be friends and it'll be great. This is my dog Scout. She doesn't have Tourette's, but we're best friends. Hey, this is my, right. Alright, thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope maybe some of my experiences can help you figure out how to just make your life a little bit easier with Tourette's. And hopefully this explanation kind of my life and my journey with Tourette's will kind of explain why in some of my other videos I really don't seem like I have Tourette's. But I promise I do. I know how you guys feel. I know how it be. Alright, bye!